You don't own your software. You don't own your movies. And as of this year, you don't even own the physical hardware inside your own car. For the last decade, you have been playing a rigged game. Every time you clicked the buy button online, you were lied to. You didn't buy anything. You signed a revocable license, a digital permission slip that can be canceled, deleted, or geo-fenced the moment your credit card declines. Wall Street quietly realized that selling you a product once is a terrible business model. To satisfy the shareholders, they had to turn you into a permanent renter of your own life. From the software you use to work, to the tractor you use to farm, to the heated seats in your vehicle. They call it the subscription economy, but the math tells a much darker story. Welcome to the era of permanent rentiership. In the boardrooms of Wall Street, there is a holy grail. 3 letters that dictate the survival of every modern corporation. Monthly recurring revenue. MRR. 20 years ago, the economy operated on a simple exchange. A company built a product, you paid a flat fee, and you owned it forever. If you bought Adobe Photoshop in 2010, you paid roughly $500. You put the disk in your computer, and that software was yours until your computer died. But then, the tech industry realized they had a problem. Once everyone owned the software, sales flatlined. To keep the stock price climbing, they didn't need to make better products. They needed to change the definition of ownership. In 2013, Adobe made a historic pivot. They killed the physical product and forced their entire user base onto the cloud. You could no longer buy the software. You could only rent access to it for $50 a month. Let's look at the math. Instead of extracting $500 from a customer once, they figured out how to extract $6,000 from that exact same customer over a decade. And if you ever stopped paying, you'd lose access to your own files, your own work, your own digital life. This was the infinite money glitch. By holding your data hostage, they guaranteed a lifetime of payments. Wall Street rewarded this violently. Adobe stock exploded from $40 a share to over $600. Every CEO in the world watched this happen. And they asked a terrifying question. If we can force people to rent software, why can't we force them to rent physical reality? For a while, the subscription trap was contained to the digital world. You accepted that you didn't own your Photoshop files or your Spotify playlists, but then Wall Street realized they could use code to hold physical reality hostage. Imagine paying $500,000 for a piece of heavy machinery. You have the title, you have the keys, but when a single sensor breaks, the engine shuts off. You grab your tools to fix it, but you can't, because the manufacturer locked the engine behind proprietary software. This isn't a dystopian theory. It is the exact business model that sparked the right to repair movement. You bought the metal, but they kept the software. And if they control the software that turns the metal on, you don't actually own the tractor. You are just leasing the right to use it. But Wall Street didn't stop with agriculture. They came for the driveway. In recent years, automakers began shipping cars with heated seats, advanced steering, and remote start already physically installed in the vehicle. The wiring is there, the heating coils are in the leather you are sitting on. But if you press the button, nothing happens. To turn on the hardware that is already sitting inside your own car, you must pay a monthly toll. The manufacturer acts as a digital landlord, charging you rent to use your own property. If your credit card expires, your seats freeze. Software is no longer just code. It is a legal weapon designed to strip the rights of ownership away from the middle class, one microtransaction at a time. And if they can do it to your car, they can do it to your shelter. There is a limit to the hardware trap. If BMW charges you for heated seats, you can buy a Toyota. If Adobe locks your files, you can find open-source software. You can opt out. But there is one asset you cannot opt out of. You cannot choose not to sleep. You cannot cancel your need for shelter. Wall Street knew this. And over the last 5 years, private equity firms and institutional investors executed the largest wealth transfer in modern history. They didn't just buy stocks. They bought your neighborhood. Multi-billion-dollar corporations started outbidding average families for single-family starter homes. They paid in cash. They paid above asking price. They completely shattered the housing market. But they didn't do it to flip the houses for a quick profit. They did it because they realized the American dream could be converted into monthly recurring revenue. If you control the supply of starter homes, you force an entire generation into a permanent class of renters. A mortgage eventually ends. A mortgage means one day you own the asset. But a lease is an infinite subscription to your own life. You pay the corporate landlord every 30 days, forever, building their equity while your net worth remains locked at zero. This isn't an accident. It isn't a market failure. It is the final stage of the subscription economy. In 2016, the World Economic Forum published a short video outlining their predictions for the year 2030. It contained a single sentence that echoed across the internet. For years, the media told you this was just a conspiracy theory, a misunderstanding. But as you look around today, at the software you rent, the car features you lease, and the starter homes being swallowed by Wall Street, you realize the terrifying truth. It was never a conspiracy. It was a business model. It was the total financialization of human existence. The system is mathematically designed to transition you from a citizen with property rights into a permanent, paying subscriber to your own life. But the cage is only effective if you don't know you are in it. Now that you see the architecture of the trap, you can build the escape route. Survival in the 2026 economy requires one thing: the aggressive accumulation of uncancelable hard assets. Assets that cannot be turned off by a remote server. Assets that cannot be revoked when your credit card declines. The algorithms want you distracted, renting your life away, and entirely dependent on the system. If you want the blueprint to break out, hit subscribe. We are just getting started.